Hi, welcome back to Unit 3, Punctuation. This is Lesson 7, Hyphens. You'll find this information in your textbook on pages HB 98 through HB 100. If your mother gives you much needed advice, has she given you a great deal of advice that you needed or advice that you needed badly? What about a psychiatry experiment that used 35-year-old subjects? Were there 35 subjects who were a year old? 30 subjects who were 5 years old? Or an unspecified number of 35-year-old subjects? Hyphens help clear up just this sort of confusion. Compound words can be two words, like ground zero, a hyphenated word, such as self-esteem, or one word, like outsource. How do you know which one? Check a dictionary. If there's no compound listed, assume it's two words. An adjective, remember, describes a noun. A compound adjective also describes a noun, but it's made up of two or more words. Most compound adjectives before a noun need a hyphen, like a little-known trombonist or a foul-smelling river. Adverbs modify verbs and adjectives. Adverbs that end in ly and modify adjectives don't need a hyphen, as shown here with a carefully executed plan. A compound adjective after a noun is usually easy to read without a hyphen. Here's an example. The river has become foul-smelling in recent years. You only need a hyphen if the compound is unclear without it. A hyphen usually isn't needed after a prefix or before a suffix, such as preschool, anti-slavery, counterattack, cat-like, or citywide. They are each one word without the hyphen. However, hyphens are necessary with great, self, and elect, such as great uncle, self-hatred, and president-elect. With words that begin with capitals like anti-American or post-Soviet literature. With numbers like post-9/11 or the mid-1960s. To avoid double and triple letters, as in anti-intellectualism or ball-like, because that's not a thing in English. For clarity, such as to distinguish between recover, meaning to cover again, and recover, meaning to get well. Hyphenate fractions and compound numbers from 21 to 99. This includes words like 3/4 and 35. Sometimes you don't have room at the end of a line for a whole word, but you do have room for part of it. But there are rules for this. For example, don't leave only one letter at the end or beginning of a line. You can never divide a one-syllable word like car, bought, or keep, even if it has double letters. When you divide a word, it has to be between syllables as shown in a dictionary, after a prefix, or before a suffix. When you divide a compound word like mainstream, split it between the parts. Sometimes you need to add a URL or DOI to an entry on the Works Cited page. If the address is a long one, it may be tempting to insert a hyphen at the line break, but this is a temptation you need to resist. If you have to break a web address, do it after a double slash or before any other punctuation mark by pressing Shift and the Enter key. And if you break a URL or DOI, double check that the link still works and that your hanging indent is still intact. For a short lesson, this one sure had a lot of details. We talked about using hyphens with compound words like compound adjectives, prefixes and suffixes, and numbers. And we talked about breaking a word at the end of a line and how to break a URL or a DOI. Be sure to check Canvas just in case I've assigned a quiz or two over hyphens. Thanks for hanging in here for Lesson 7, Hyphens. I'll see you next time for Lesson 8, Capitalization. Thanks for stopping by. And thanks to Slides Carnival and Unsplash for their help with my slides template. See you next time.